Okay, we are live. I think we are both live in my profile and in my Facebook group. Let me see. Yes, here we are.
Perfect.
Hello, everyone. How are you? Samantha is sending me a message that there was a countdown for us to go live. So yeah, we are live both in my ISAM. We are live both in my personal page and in my Facebook group. So I will try to catch the comments. And when you come on live, say hi, who you are, where are you tuning from. And today we have with me the beautiful Marine, and we are gonna do a client spotlight interview. So those interview for me are, of course, for talking about my work, but also showcasing my incredible clients and their magic. And Marine is so magical and amazing. So Marine, would you like to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, where are you based?
So I am a coach for women entrepreneurs. I help them into bring them back into alignment, work on their mindset, their money mindset, but really more like on the also the integrating that in the body, like really embodiment of that, just not working on like the conceptual things. And really I help them activate their power. So when they work with me, I think they feel much more confident and they grow their business, not by realizing that the strategy is everything, but by realizing what's the correct strategy for them and really like expand at the higher version of themselves. And I'm
Yeah.
based in Switzerland. My business is in French.
Yes, love it. And you are a manifesting generator.
Yes.
What
Sacral
else?
authority, profile to 5. I have a defined ego as
What
you
the
know,
geek,
because
for the geek of human design, like Marine, like she's a manifesting generator with a defined ego that it's pretty rare having a defined
with all
ego.
the
Just
gates
with
defined.
all the gates active, it's like just 30% of the whole world is defined, and she's not only defined, but all gates like. So she really, naturally she really has this energy when people work with her to feel more powerful. She empowered them to to really step into their truth and design a business around their embodiment, not so much strategies. So we started, like, tell us a little bit, like, why did you reach out to me, how did we start working together?
Mm. So I discovered you last fall. Actually, it was 1 year ago in
Yes.
October
Yeah.
2020. And at that time, I was working with another coach, which I was not really satisfied, was not bringing me what I hoped from that. And when I discovered you, I went to your Instagram profile and I was like directly, okay, I want to work with her. I didn't even know you. I was like, okay, from what you shared, the energy I felt, I was like really connected to you. So I wrote to you in October. And then I wanted to finish what I had with the other coach. So we started working this year together.
Mhm. Yeah, I think you did with me like the 3 codes to a multi six-figure launch.
Yes, exactly. I bought that offer before. I was pretty sure that I wanted to work with you, but as it wasn't a really small investment, I think I needed some kind of confirmation for myself to say, okay, if I like those 3 days that what she's sharing, then I'm sure that I will like the rest of her work. So this is what I did. I invested in that, and then I told her after that. I told you, I'm not speaking to someone else. I told you that I wanted to work with you. I think yeah, it was end of December or beginning of
Yeah.
January, and we started working together in February.
Yes. So that's something I also want to kind of highlight, the fact that when we really are in alignment with our design, when we are embodied, when we share from a place of truth. Like, we don't people don't need to see us 200 times before deciding to, work with us one-on-one. Even that is my highest level of proximity and investment. But when someone like, Marine trusts herself, and you feel this sacral, pull, is really powerful to actually, take action on that.
Yeah, I really told myself when I discovered your profile, I don't know how, but I will work with her. I
Yeah.
just knew it. It's like internally.
And it's funny, we have such a similar
Yeah.
thing. Black and white.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and you were so, like, what I loved is like how you led yourself in the process, in the sense that I said, we don't have space now because I was fully booked, but you can secure your spot for next year. And you were like, yes, I'm gonna do it, even if at the time, the business was not generating the level of income that maybe justified that investment. So I would love for you to talk a little bit on that.
Yeah, so because my previous investment was approximately 1 month working with him. So it was like a big shift for me. And so when I discovered your prices, I was like, okay, I need to figure that out. But I was not really. That's the funny thing is that it did not. It shocked me at first because it was the first time I was hearing a coach setting to those prices, but it was not like telling me, oh no, it's too expensive, or I was like, really, okay, if she can afford to sell at that price, I want even more to be in your word, because I want to understand and know how you do it. It's
Hmm.
like, and why did I say that? Then I was really like, for me, my sacral was a big yes, but sometimes I'm kind of person that I think maybe with my ego defined that can
Hmm.
take action really, really, really fast. So I had the discussion with my husband because it was a big investment, and at first, because he's like more in the masculine and more in his head, it was like telling me, no, it doesn't make sense for when you're in your business, you need to wait. And I was like, no, 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 I need to work with her now. I'm sure that this will work. And he told me, okay, fine, but you have like 6 months, and if during those 6 months you need to have at least recovered the investment or more. And I was like, okay. And but I don't know, I trusted that it will come. I didn't know how, but I trusted it, and it came before the 6 months. I
Yeah.
recovered the whole investment. And yeah, so I think it was really like listening to my gut, and really, but it's a feeling that you have in your body. Sometimes you want things, but you are really, you can tell when you are doubting in your body. But this time it was like I was sure. I was like, no, I need that, I want that, and it will work. And that's
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, and I think it's so huge because first, a lot of women is like, oh, my husband, he doesn't want that, he's not on board, and it doesn't mean we have to ask permission, but I think it's very powerful to actually open up a conversation if there is the space, if we are in a partnership, to, kind of be on the same page, because we don't want, when we invest, to have this, like, I'm hiding, shame, pressure, because it's creating a lot of pressure on yourself and on the clients. Like, the clients
Mm.
actually feel when you are like, I need the money, I need the money. And then the other thing is like, it was such a huge stretch for you, and it was not comfortable, but that's when we actually, when we don't stay comfortable, that's when we show up for ourselves fully. Like, there are two type of women, or the one who kind of go back into like trauma, hiding, and we don't want that, or a woman like Marine that is like, no, I want this, I'm in, and I'm gonna show up for it, and I'm gonna create my results.
Yeah, and I think I was like feeling that I needed to stop kidding with my business. Like it was like I was too much taking my business not like seriously as a hobby or like something that I was like having some money but not the way I want it. And but it's like I realize now after one like this whole year that yeah, I was because I knew I had my husband, so I was like really
Mhm.
like yeah. And when I was investing $2,000 or $10,000, which was my previous coach, it was a stress, but not too much because I live in Switzerland, and in Switzerland
Yeah.
we have a higher like life level, like salary
Mhm.
level. So it was a stretch, of course, but not as big as a stretch. And I was like, I knew in my body that if I wanted to take my business seriously, I needed to have like such a big stretch that if I would lose that money would be really bad and it would be really uncomfortable for me and my family. And I didn't want that to happen. So I needed to be responsible for that.
Yes. Samantha says, I love this, Marine. Is so often we let our heads talk us out of our body's decision. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when we are tapped in with human design, it's like at the beginning it's like such a mind craziness, because you're like, yeah, but it doesn't make sense, my logic, the pro and cons, is telling me like this doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
But then when we actually follow the authority in the human design that is always in live in our body, magic can unfold.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
tell us a little bit like what we did together. I think it's interesting for people to hear, how did you go from making 5K months to six figures this year?
Yeah. And it was like the highest month, 5K months. It was even less the like majority of the months, but it was like I don't know. When I started working with you, the first thing I realized that, and this also helps when you invest, when you do a stretch for that and you are willing to pay, then you realize how stressful you consider yourself for your prices and everything. And it like it's just a perception and it's just energy and it's just how you feel about it. So when
Mhm.
I started working with you, I doubled the price of my one-on-one. And I made a launch for that one-on-one. So, and I started to get much more client one-on-one paying that amount than the previous one. It was like so easy. So this was the first thing that like to increase my price and to really own my power because I think I was still apologizing when I was
Mhm.
selling like at the lower price, like, and I remember that when I was at the lower price, I tend to overgive more now than now
Mhm.
because it was like less boundaries. Like I was so desperate to find a client that when I had then I was like, yeah, you can have everything from me. And I'm like, I know that clients come, I know my worth, and I'm like, it's easier for me to sell. And
Yeah.
now actually I double in March, and now I have almost triple that offer since we have started working with you.
Yes.
So yeah, this was the main thing, like really increasing my one-on-one. And then we we did some launches together, like the group programs. And yeah, it was really like, I think what we did together was really also like emotional intelligence, how to balance,
Mhm.
because it was really hard for me to manage a launch before.
Yes.
Like I tried to do some launches before. It was always like very dramatic and very
Yeah.
hard and very painful. And I learned how to like yeah, to feel safe in my body and to manage the wave of emotions and to continue to maintain a vision until the last day, which was really hard for me. So, and also to play, I learned to have fun in my
Mm.
launch, which I did not have before, because for me it was like, oh, launch, you need to be strict, you need to
Yes.
be like, to do, yeah, very masculine, like you need to do all the things that they tell you to do. I was like, I think the work we did together also was more like to unlearn everything I had learned in the past, and just say no, I do what feels good. And actually the months that I did less
Yes.
in June, I made my highest months, like 30K was crazy. And I was having a launch of a first program that I never sold before, and I sent only 3 emails total for the month, and I just had a master, like a 3-day masterclass, but that's it. And I made 30K, like with really no effort, because I was so aligned. I was having fun, and I was really relaxed. So yeah, the work we did together was really
30K,
that.
30K euros or dollars? Euros,
Yeah, it
no?
was a bit more than 30K, but yes, in euros. So in dollars,
Yes.
it's even more.
40,
It's like
40,000.
35 to 40K. Yes,
Cash.
yes, cash.
Yeah, because a lot of people talk about, like, revenue, but that's not the same.
No, it was cash, and then I lived the whole summer because I did not launch until end of August, beginning of September. So I lived the whole summer based on that sales of this month without
Yes.
selling, because I went on holiday. I did not work. I just wanted to like enjoy my family, and I really did not work at all for a month. In July I did not do anything, and in August I started slowly to do things, and I could live based off those months, based off that big launch that I had in June.
And then, we also forget to say that you are a mom of two young
Yes.
children. So
Yes.
it's like, it's juggling a lot, the business, the launches, the clients, the children, the husband, the house. But it's like you can do it, when you are in alignment, and when, as you said, you bring the fun, and really act from the desire and not from the launch should be this, and that's just exact step I need to do. And of course, like, I taught you a lot of strategies that, maybe you were not using before, but then I always encourage you, like, customize them in a way that feels most aligned.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And also, like, when you understand, when you trust yourself, you trust the process, you realize that you can relax. Because before, I was never relaxed. I was always thinking of my business. So when I was missing my kids, I was not really present. But then when I was working for my business, like maybe on the weekend, I was feeling guilty to not be with my children. So it was always like, like it was never good. And when you realize that, of course you have to work. It's like there is no magic pill that just sit in your
Exactly.
chair and like, but that mm, it's not the quantity of work that will define your success. And this I really like. I knew it in my head before, but it's
Mm,
like this year I really embodied it much more.
yeah. Sam is asking, did you know your design match before working with Elisa?
My design match.
Your human design. Did you know?
Ah,
Mm.
no. Well, I was following Eden. This is also how I discovered you. So I was having like I discovered human design existed in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So it was pretty recent. So, and I started following her, but I just knew I was a manifesting generator, and that's it. So it was
Okay.
really like the smallest basic part of it, and I didn't know Jinky.
Mm. And so, how has been for you, and what do you think is the value of really knowing your design, your authority, your centers, your jinkies?
I think first it's like you can forgive yourself for a lot of things. Like as a manager, I was always told that to like I
Too
speak too
much.
fast, too much, I speak too loudly, like I take too much space, and it was very hard for me because I was always like I didn't know why, because it's like so natural to be like that, And I have a sister who is a projector, so you can imagine the contrast between us two. So, like, she was like much more quieter, much more like, yeah,
Calm.
yeah, calm energy, like peaceful energy. I was like, wow, and going. So I think this one, the main thing is like understand that. And what I like about human design is that there is no bad design. It's like everything is serving you. And so
Hmm.
when you understand your design, you're like, okay, actually, I am powerful. I have tools. I have resources that I can use. That like I'm worthy. Like you just discover that through your design. Like really helping you understand that. So I think this was for me the main like yeah the main help for me was to understand that actually I don't need to change myself to earn money.
Mm, I love that. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I want to point out something that I think is important because for me, integrity and transparency. Like you came already with the background in marketing. You were working in corporate before, so you already have the structure kind of in mind of the business. How does it work? You already had a social media presence.
Yes,
You already had followers and you already knew how to use social media. So of course, yes, you were making like between 1 to 5K months, but there was already so much potential there to grow exponentially from there. So
yes,
I don't want to paint this as oh, she went from 1K to 40K as magic, because the I am magical, we are magical, but there are also some stuff, some foundation structure that needs to be in place to scale.
yeah, exactly. And this is what I tell always my client, because sometimes I have people contacting me like, yeah, how much will I gain, like money wise, like will I earn when I work with you? And I'm like, I cannot tell it, because it's
Yeah.
like it depends on the foundations you have in your business, and also in the willingness that you have to do the work, etc. But apart from that, if you have no offer, no online presence, no, well, you will obviously like have gain things from the coaching, but not as scalable, not as expensive as if you already have everything in place, and then you can just tap into that and then jump. And this is what I did. Of course, I already had my website. I already had a presence, like you said. I already had some offer. Of course, I had to change them and to tweak them, but I already tried and failed like 2 to 3 times at launching. But I knew in my head how more or less the process will look like. And then of course you can, and then when you know all that, I think it's important to first know, because then you can work in alignment, because
Hmm.
then you can say, okay, this I have tried and it doesn't work for me, and this is not because it works for a lot that it's still working for me.
Yeah, I think that's so important. It's like because I see many women going from zero, and that they expect a six-figure months immediate or multiple five-figure months, but like they miss completely the foundation. So they invest maybe like with me, my one-on-one now is $12,000 a month. Eh, you know I wouldn't take this person as a client because I would make her a disservice. So I would suggest her go to work with someone much cheaper that can help you with the basis, the foundation, and then when you want to quantum leap, come to me.
Yeah, exactly. And this is important. And I think there are coaches for everybody and every stage of business. But when you work with someone like you, it's like you need to understand that you're not like I don't know how to call that, but the technical coach that will tell you how to set up a mailing list, and you need to have. No, it's like you also made me responsible for that. Like
Mm,
it's not my thing to do that for you. It's like it's up to you to just do the thing that works for you. We can discuss exactly how I feel with that and play with that, but it's like, and I agree that when you start a business, you need more a coach that will actually help you to do all those
yes,
foundations that are still important, but it's it's the basics, and then you can grow.
yes. Because at the end of the day, when we want to step back into the feminine of receiving, we still need a pathway for money to come in, and
Yes.
if we don't have an email list, if we don't have an Instagram, if we don't have anything, it's like before we create the masculine structure and the pathway, and then we step into another type of game.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we discussed in the end of our coaching, that I needed, like, this year I grew a lot in my feminine and in my receiving, but I have like the feeling, and this is really like, but it's happens when you understand and you know how to work with those two energies. And this is also what I learned with you a lot this year, is that I feel that because next year I wanted to, maybe, I don't know, to do 4 to 5 times what I have done this year. If I need that, I need first to have even much more masculine structure in some type of my business. So then I can play and relax and have fun in this structure.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's so important. I don't want to pass the message, and I think there is a lot of that in the space. Is like, just lean back and receive. But I'm also like not very masculine, but the both of us, like, we worked a lot on masculine and feminine together and with all my clients. But like as you said at the beginning, we need to put the work. There is no
Yes.
other way around. It's like either putting the work on paying someone to do the work, or either putting the work of ourselves, but in any case, like showing up for our clients, showing up for our audience, giving transformation. Like that's the work, and the work is also our own inner work, our own energetic work.
Yes.
But also, like, I run a multi-million dollar brand, and I couldn't do that just with feminine energy. Like, we need I have a team, I have system, I have structures, I have, we use Asana, project management, Slack, we have system for payment, contracts. Like all of those things, I think they are not really talked about, and maybe it's also my responsibility. That's why I'm doing this coming out. But it's like those are so important.
Hmm. Yes, there are. And it's, I think it's really finding the right balance between both of them. Sometimes we're too much in our feminine and sometimes we're too much in our masculine. I think the main tendency when you start a business is to be too much in your masculine. But
Yes,
then sometimes the mistake is that when you learn the feminine, you imbalance to the other side, which I was like
yes,
when I reached June, it's like I realized that I was really, like, really great at receiving, but I got burned out at, like, because there were like not enough structure to support the amount of money I was receiving.
exactly.
And this is what I realized. But this is great because I like the challenge, they always bring you some awareness of the situation. So now I have like stepped back and started to hire someone to work with me. And my goal for next year is also to increase that and to have more like things that are really in place and set up, and then you can relax. Because when there is not a solid foundation, like not an enough masculine energy foundation, it's like the feminine energy, she's always trying to relax but not completely laid down because she knows that the
Okay.
support is not there. So yeah, exactly.
And I always say, like, the masculine is like the banks of the river, and the feminine is the river. But like,
Mm,
if there are no banks, like, the water is gonna go
exactly.
out. So another very important thing is, like, I call it the swampy feminine with money. Is like, we as business owners, like, when we move from, as you said, from hobby to CEO, business owner, woman of wealth, like, you gotta know your numbers.
Yeah.
You gotta know, your prices, what is coming in, what is coming out. How much are you making from, a launch, and because then we can use those data, in a very feminine, masculine way to tweak and change the strategies. For example, for you, you decided that you didn't want to do early bird for your launches anymore, and that's perfect. And you actually had the incredible success with that. But you know, a lot of coaches will tell you like, no, that's the structure. Like, do this, the early bird, and then the waiting list, and then. But you know, every launch I feel also has a own energetic life. So
Mm-hmm.
that goes what I told you. Like maybe tomorrow you want to do wait list and early bird and early bird. You know, we never know.
Yes, exactly. And it's accepting that. Yeah, and this is also, I don't know if it's for all types, but at least for my type, like manifesting generator, is to accept that you can change your mind a lot and that it's okay. And then you can change what you have set up. You can change the strategy if it doesn't align with you anymore. You can change the programs that you are running. You can change your one-on-one. You can stop doing one-on-one, which is things I consider doing maybe in the future. So it's like, yeah, it's always giving you permission to be your most authentic expression. And when you do that, this is also what I realized this year, like you allow other people to do the same for them.
Mm, I love that. So in terms of numbers, give us a little bit like, you know, how many programs did you launch this year while working together, and you know, how did it feel? Because you know, not every, again, not every human design type are manifesting generator with a lot of energy and a defined ego. So maybe for a projector, you know, we will design your strategy in a different way. But you know,
Yeah, so I counting my one-on-one launch, I launched 5 times this year. Which even for me, a manifesting generator was a bit crazy, but not crazy for the number of launch, but because I had nothing in place of
hmm,
like the content. Like the second part of the years, I
yes,
reused a bit of the same content, so it felt less crazy. But the three first launch, it was like ongoing, like every 6 weeks I was launching, so it was really intense. But now that I have like things that I can reuse, and I feel better because also when you launch, like this year I have launched a lot, but it have taught me a lot as well
yes,
to like exactly. So now every day I'm launch, I'm feeling more relaxed and more aligned, and I don't put myself as much pressure. So I think like, but I yeah, so I launched 5 times, and but I launched 2 times the same programs.
yes.
So this also allow me to relax a bit more instead of creating a new one. And I'm about to launch a new one for now November, December. So it will be a total of 6 launches.
And you know, the thing we also did together was really owning in your messaging.
Yeah.
You know, what am I really here to launch? You know, what am I really here to teach? Because you know, it's really important that also what you are offering feels aligned and embodied.
Yeah, exactly. And like to really like the difference of creating content and an offer from your head or from your heart. And this is really, really like something. And I think this is the hardest part, at least for
Mm,
me. I don't know if it's for everyone, but it's so going into the heart and just really opening your heart and expressing yourself from there and not from the head. Sometimes I know that I can still do that, but it's a really a learning in progress. And compared to where I was at the beginning of 2021, it's a crazy shift. But I
mm-hmm.
think, yeah, it's so important to, yeah, to really not because like they always tell you like create an offer for your client, yes, but also create an offer for you,
For
like
yours.
that you love and that you're proud of and that you want to sell. Actually, you're not ashamed of selling, that you're really convinced with what you created, and this is really important as well.
Yeah. You know, I've worked with coaches, you know, especially at the beginning, that were like, do market research. And, you know, I spent hours in this fucking market research, sorry, Facebook. But then, you know, I didn't get anything because
No.
everyone was saying different things. And then I'm confused. So, it's really like we see in your chart, actually, in your gene keys, like we even use one of your gene keys to name one of your program.
Yes.
We see in the chart, like, what am I here to do? What are my what is my genius? And then, we work on that, we embody that, and then people respond to this frequency. We don't need to do market research.
Yeah. No, it was funny because I created one of the like there is one program that I really love, which is one of the one that is called after my gene key. And I created this program without really looking at my gene key at first. And then you told me to, and it was a program on how to become magnetic,
Mhm.
like tapping more into your intuition and feminine essence. And then when you told me to look at it, I realized that actually the gift, because you told me to look at
It's
which one
magnetism.
yeah, it was magnetism, and then
Florence.
the CD was fluorescent. So I was like, this is crazy because I have created a course that is actually in my gene key without knowing it.
Yes, I love that. And so, what would you say? I know I love the piece where you said it's like, I kind of burned out at one point that I don't think was a real burnout, but you were tired, and
Yeah.
you took the July to relax. Also because you're with your kids, you're always something coming up, and you navigated that so beautifully. But I think it's huge what you said, like I was very tired because my nervous system was and my systems were not ready to receive this huge influx of cash.
Yes.
And a lot of time what we do is actually we receive that and then we go back into retreat mode. We lose all the money, we stop selling, and I think those are the moments where a lot of people stop coaching. You could have said, okay, I did my 40K month, I'm done, while you decided to resign with me and keep going, because we need to stabilize this frequency.
Yeah, exactly. This is the reason why, because it happened the months that we were supposed to finish, like end of June. No, end of July, but it was like I realized that end of June that I had that big of a month, and we were discussing to continue working with you at that time. And I told myself that I knew that if you stop during a momentum, then you can like really decrease. And I felt it even. So I was happy to have you during those months after because I felt the contraction.
Yes.
I felt yeah, that like it's like what you say that when you receive, because I went from like earning seven, like between 7 to 10K months to 30K plus months. So it was like such a huge gap. And I remember at some point of of that launch, like having people paying me, I was like telling my husband, I just want to stop it. I want to close the door. Like it's too much. And then
Yeah,
I
I
just
remember you
breathe
said
and
like, they keep coming, like they keep
yeah.
coming. It's
I was
crazy.
like, and I'm like, oh my God, that's not, because then it's like all of your fear of being like not good enough, they all come up to the surface because you're like, okay, if one person sees that, then it's fine. But it's if 20% sees that, it's like, so yeah, I had to really, really work on feeling worthy of that money, feeling worthy of receiving all of that amount of clients, and feeling safe having that much money,
Mhm.
feeling safe recreating that because your mind is always telling you, oh no, it was just a one shot or
Yes.
like, so it's always a work of like your nervous system to really
Mhm.
feel calm. And every month that pass I'm regaining that confidence and that safety in my body. But it's really like yeah, and if you're alone at that point,
Yeah.
like it's, I can imagine that if I would have been alone, maybe I would have stopped for a few months because I would
Yes.
like have had a shutdown in my body, like not be able to handle that.
Yes. Yes. 100%. And as you said, like then we start like maybe it's been a fluke. maybe it's not happening, no matter what the level we are, like if we are making 100K a month, if we are making 40, 20, and it's the first time, like our human brain will go into this is a fluke, this is luck, this is not gonna happen again. So we really need we really desire someone to hold space for us in those transitions.
Yeah, and because we all only when we don't have that, we only see the positive side of having that. We're like, I know, I used to dream of having a 30K
Yes.
month. It was like, and I was always telling myself, I will feel success. Like I will know that's for sure that my business is successful when I reach 30K months. But then you don't realize that when you reach 30K months, actually, maybe your mind is happy for a second, but then
Yeah.
your body is not happy because it doesn't feel secure, and then your mind start wondering because your body is and your mind start responding to what your the activation in your body is happening. So yeah, it was a lot of then work and like nervous system work and like really calming everything down to feel fine again.
Yeah. And I think one thing you did beautifully again instead of beating yourself up like, oh, I didn't do again 40K month the month after. It's like, no, I'm actually safe and I'm regulating myself, and I'm still, showing up for myself, my business, but in a way that feels, relaxed.
Yeah, and also I think I was telling myself the whole time that if I did it once, I can redo it. It's like it's easy, and it just will happen. It's just happening when you are just again integrating everything. So it's also trusting that divine timing. Like
Mm,
you see, it's important that when you have a vision to just not stop having that vision. I
yes.
have like my big vision since when I started working with you and even before is to have a million dollar euro a year, and I know it will happen. I don't know when, and it's like I don't will beat myself up until it happens. No, I will
Mm,
continue and make one step after one step and know that when it's perfect timing, it will come.
yes. I love that. So, what would you say is like the main difference about me as the business mentor working with me? What would you say was unique or different or special?
So what made me contract you first was like because I really love the fact that you were doing both energy and like business coaching, because for me what I had seen before, it was more like business, very
Mm,
masculine, very like strategy, and very like not taking into consideration all the emotional energy, or too much energy and healing, which is great. I love healers, but like healers, I try to like, I think it's a perfect combination to have
mhm,
both actually. So you can either have two people doing two
mhm,
side, but
exactly.
having one person doing this, both of them together, it's really helpful for me. And I think like what the main thing that I can tell is that it's just being in your energy was really activating, like
Mm,
because I started selling and I started to feel more confident with like I don't even know why, like it happened, it just happened. It's like I was like, okay, great. Well, and I remember you told me and you sent me a message like, welcome to your new reality. I was like, okay, fine. So it works for me. So yeah, so this was the main thing. And also like when you do the coding session, for
mm,
me it was really helpful on top of our coaching, because sometimes you don't see everything for yourself. You can just feel that there is something, but your mind will just not help you get the answer. So when you do like the coding and you see in the energy that what's going on, actually it helps a lot. Because I remember in June, actually, no, in July, when I was feeling really tired, you did a coding with me, and I actually had like, I don't remember, 30 chords you told me or
yes.
something like that. So it's like it was like if I was carrying the energy of all my clients. So this is also the reason why I was feeling so tired. And so I think this helps a lot to yeah, to release a lot of energy and to realign yourself into feeling good and continuing to move on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I love that. Thank you. I think it's so important, as you said, like, for me, having someone who can do both or even more of that, because we did, emotional intelligence work, energy work, business, strategy, human design, like, it's really holistic. And as you said, like, the energetic is so important, especially when we start to hold space for more people, because then, unintentionally, aura we get, a mesh in different aura and different energy. We take thought form. Clients calls to us, because there is some, I want that, some jealousy, some, even admiration sometimes can become like, oh, give me some of that. And they don't do that on purpose, but of course, then you are like, I'm so tired, I'm so drained, what is going on, and if we can't see inside the, with the body and your energy, then maybe you do another, you stop, you do another strategy, and then it doesn't work, and then it's a strategy, it's like a
Yeah,
mess.
exactly. So no, yeah, this helps a lot, and really working, yes, with the human design helped a lot to understand how I could effectively run my business actually, and to yeah, to understand what feels right for me to do it like effectively, and to really focus more on your strengths and your power instead of like doing everything like you're supposed to do. So this really helped me as well to discuss all of that, so like in terms of strategy, to really understand that for me, I'm, for instance, much more like I sell much better when I speak than when I write.
Mhm.
So this was, of course, something when I understood that, I really increased the number of masterclasses I was doing, and I
Yes.
was selling much more during those masterclasses because people really loved what I had to share during those days that I was speaking. And then I also did more lives on Instagram and things like that because I realized the power that is in my voice. When I write, I can convince people, but it's more, it doesn't come as natural as
Yes.
speaking to me.
Yes. Because you have a defined truth.
Yes.
Totally. And so what would you say to someone is like, oh, I really want to do it, but I'm on the fence, or what would you say?
I think it always depends on where you want to go. If you want to stay where you are, you can always stay where you are and have the excuses. And if you want to, and of course, you are not made for everyone, and I'm not made for everyone. But if you feel like I felt 1 year ago that, for instance, you are the good coach, you're the right mentor, I think it's like, I always tell the people that if you want to change the paradigm where you're living, you need to take the decision and the actions from that person who
Yes.
you want to become. And this is what I made for you. I was like, I really told myself, because I told myself, okay, if you earned 300K year, what would you do? And I was like, you would work with her. So I'm like, okay, I decided I want to work with her. So I think it always depends. We can always find excuses why it's not the right timing, why it's scary, why it's a big shift, it's a big stretch, and it's a big investment, etc. But also it's a matter of, do I trust myself
Mhm.
to have that money back? Do I feel really capable of earning that money? Because when we are afraid of investing, it's normally that we don't trust ourselves and our business. And when I invested in you, with you, I told myself that I was capable of earning that money, that I could do it.
Yes.
And it's like the power of a decision. It's the worst that could do is like to invest in you in a way of desperation, like
Mhm.
desperation, like I cannot do it myself. She needs to do it because it won't work. Because when this is a great relationship when you leave yourself, and you
Mhm.
will help me even more in myself and even more. But if I was a victim all the time, you could not
Yes,
help me anyway. Even though I would pay you, you could not help me. So I think
exactly.
this is really important if you want to have, like, I don't know, a 20k months, a 30k months, a 50k months, and 100k months, and you feel that Lisa is the right thing for you, but it's just the fear, then the fear is just your comfort zone. It's just
Yes.
where you're right now, and just avoiding you to change and to reach your level of success because it's just too scary. But it's just follow your authority, follow your, like, for me, it was my secret. My secret was
Mm,
really clear with me. So it's like, follow what feels right for you.
I love that. Thank you. And where people can, French people, because you work on in French, if they speak French, can work with you. What are you have coming up? Where they can connect to you?
They can connect to me best on Instagram. So I'm at Melo underscore. And what I have next, I have one spot open for my 101, and but it's for women that already earn between 5 to 10k months and that wants to expand beyond. And then I will have a small 3-day masterclass to really align your intentions for 2022.
Mm.
That is
And
coming
when is
quickly.
will be that?
I still have to
November,
figure
December.
that out, but it will be end of November, beginning of December. I still need to fix the date clearly, but it would be around end of November. Yeah, something like that.
Awesome. And I love what you said, everything about it, and also like how the coach client, I don't even like to call client, like it's an intimate relationship, and it's important that we both feel the connection, and
Mm,
that we both feel the intimacy, and that we can work together, because is such a deep, profound relationship. Like it's not just about I give you this strategy, we spoke about everything.
mhm. Yes, yes, it's really important that to trust and and it's like what I realized this year also is like you cannot elevate your business if you're stuck in your life, if you feel like the contraction in your life, and you need to be able to discuss. And when, I don't know, for instance, when I open up about money, it's also the topic of sex related, because really the receiving is all related. And since I have started working with you, actually my sex life, I have opened up myself a lot more, because I was really in my masculine, like in the controlling side, for instance, in that part. So speaking about all the things were really important. So when you work with you, it's like also, and I hope with other coaches, uh like I hope with the integrity of the other coaches, this is what I meant, like to feel that trust within that person, to be able to open up to everything, like to, yeah, because then you realize that sometimes you don't feel safe, not because
Mhm.
of your business, but because of intimate, deep things that happen to you. And it's really important to have someone that you can tell and know that will hold that space for you, and that you can just deliver it and feel confident that it will be well received from the other side. Yeah.
Yeah, because as you said, like especially as women, we can't separate our life from the business. Like we can be like, okay, now I'm in the business and everything else is like out. No, it's like we are, a living thing, constantly evolving, and everything is interconnected.
Exactly. No, this is really important.
Thank you so, 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 so much for being here for this. I think it's incredible conversation. I really invite you guys to tune in, and even just if you want to receive some, activation and downloads about business, really tune into this conversation, and like follow Marine, reach out to her if you want to know more about her. And we are currently enrolling either for 101 with me or my mastermind, Women of Wealth. So if you feel called to it, reach out and we will schedule an application.
Thank you, Elisa, for inviting me.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love
Bye.
you.